Welcome one, welcome all to episode 252 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, November 23rd, 2024. I am your host, Luke Lohr of the InsipidGhost, joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logun.
Ahoy.
Today we'll be discussing the Xbox nominees at the Game Awards, the launch of Stalker 2, and more cloud gaming rollouts. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness that have made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. This week has been an interesting week in gaming. I've been kind of just playing Call of Duty and working through stuff. Haven't really been able to socialize too much outside of our friend group. So just kind of been checking things out from afar. Saw a lot of really good videos this week that I'm sure we'll get into. And yeah, just kind of enjoying that aspect of it. I'm waiting for a shipment that's coming in from Litter Robot, because I bought a litter robot for my cats for your birthday. So
okay.
You.
All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Does my mic sound better, by the way? I had it on the wrong one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. You're coming in a little hot, though.
A little hot.
A little hot.
How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, that's actually way better.
Okay, good deal.
You're still
good
hot,
deals.
though.
If
that's any consolation.
Oh, thanks. Like, I literally went back to the mic. I was like, really? All right, got it. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, sorry. I had it. I did a preview event for a game that I can put a video out this coming week, which is gonna be my first preview video ever. And so like I'm a little stressed and nervous by that, but I did a preview event, and during that I was using the Arctis mic, not the Yeti mic, and so that's why.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not an Xbox exclusive. I want to be clear to anybody that might accidentally think that's what's going on. It's not indie or Avowed like some of the other amazing people, but it is one that I'm excited about.
We're cool, so we're not that cool yet.
We're pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky people. We get some cool coverage in here. I'm wearing my new Gunner glasses, which is kind of neat.
Dude, I actually really like these, to the point where I'm probably going to next month. I'm probably going to go and see about getting contacts again, because I haven't had contacts in like decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like these, and I like the idea of not having the blue tint filter built into my lenses, because every time I take like regular photos, it always makes my eyes look yellow, like I've got like scurvy or something.
Yeah.
So now that I'm rocking the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Gunners,
yeah,
I'm genuinely like, okay, maybe now's a good reason for me to go get contacts again, so I can wear these and pull the blue light filters out of my regular lenses, so I can have like just regular sunglasses and stuff. So
right,
shout out to them for giving these to test and stuff. So hopefully soon. And you know what I really like about it, though? What's really cute?
What's that?
Not gonna lie, it comes with a little glasses pouch that's like Call of Duty themed.
Yeah.
And it comes with a little like microfiber cloth.
Yeah,
it's got the blobs on one side and some nice little like camo on the other. I genuinely was like surprised when I saw this stuff come in, and I was like, oh, this is really cute. They did such a good job with all the branding with blobs and stuff. So
they did. And to be clear, they sent us these, but this is not an ad. I will say, any longtime listener of XP knows that I have like eye fatigue issues. Like I do struggle between the game and work screen time, and my eyes get tired. So I've been wearing the Gunner Overwatch glasses, which they did send over as well. But I've been wearing those. However, it gets kind of a Tony Stark look, which attracts attention, which I'm not like at work. I don't want, right? Like I don't want that. Like when I'm gaming, it's fine. But these are a little more subtle. They are bigger than I like, but for my like style. That said, I really like how much coverage they do. And you might like the cloth. I like that they have like this hard case with it. This is so silly, but it like clips to my backpack, which I really like for moving around. I do that.
Little carabiner. It's fantastic. How do I look, by the way? What do you think?
You look good. You look good. And I like how these look. They're not my normal style. I say all this. I'm taking them off only because they reflect while we record, and I don't want to throw people off. But I really do like these. And like, you never know when people send you stuff, right? Like you don't, and we're under no obligation to talk about them. But I do like them. And I would say like Gunner does make good stuff. My KD is not going to get any better. That's a funny marketing beat that I heard some people say, but like, my KD won't get better, but my eyes won't hurt. And I do like that a lot. So thank you to them, and shout out to them for sending these over.
What I will say in response to that is there is very much a time frame that you will not be able to play as efficiently. Like just after a number of hours, you get tired and your KD starts to fall, and you start like, maybe now's a good time for me to stop playing.
Right.
Having eye fatigue will contribute to getting to that point. So it may not like change how you shoot or aim or anything like that, but it'll definitely impact how tired you get.
Yeah. And I long documented are the jokes that I get tired playing games. I really
you don't get tired. You have a timer. You have there's literally a timer. Wow, that is blue. Wow, I was not expecting that. There is like a countdown timer for when Luke Lohr can start and end games, and that is very much like, if you don't get on early, we're not going to get to see you for like more than an hour.
Yeah, social games, social.
Yeah,
I can play single player all day. Like I play VR, I play single player. I've been put my time into single player stuff, but being social is the timer. That's the difference. That is the difference. But yeah, again, I want not an ad, but I do like Gunner's stuff. It does help someone like me who does get eye fatigue, and so cheers to them. And it was nice of them to send it over, because you didn't have to. There was something, I don't know what is happening outside my house. I might be under attack. I do want to drop our words of kindness though, because we had a wonderful week. I celebrated my birthday this past week. I leveled up to 39,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Wait till you get to 40 and you have to start taking supplements.
Yeah, I'm already taking supplements. But I had so many wonderful people across Blue Sky and Threads wish me a happy birthday, and I just wanted to thank all of them, because it just, as you get older, you get less birthday cards. You get your grandparents aren't around. Things like that happen, and so when people take the time, it means a lot. So it's really cool. It's really cool. I had some very nice people at work. My kids were all wonderful to me. My students, to anyone that doesn't know. So it was just good. It was a good time, and I'm appreciative, grateful, and thankful to everybody.
Aw. Well, my words of kindness are actually for you, because you not only you got me the Gunners, but we're also anticipating another hardware piece to come in and start working on a review for those. I'm really interested to see how those work out.
Yeah.
Won't be able to say more until, actually get the opportunity to try them out. But when those come in, definitely going to jump on those. Also, with the nice little Gunners that we were provided, there was a Call of Duty code that came with them for a little mystery weapons crate. So if you play zombies, you're familiar with the mystery crates that could potentially be like a power weapon, could potentially be a really junky weapon. That's how RNG works. But you provided the code to a chick in chat, my girlfriend, and that was really sweet of you. You didn't have to, so thank you.
Well, you guys are having such a good time. What's one of the things is like Black Ops is really good, but it's not clicking with me right now. Talk about being tired and stuff, and I've got other single player stuff I'm wanting to play. But it's been neat watching you and Chick and Kevin and the XEP community just jump in and have these like nightly COD sessions. And so I wanted to go where it's going to be used, right? Like that's when we did the Turtle Beach headset review. Once I was done, I sent it to, I think it was Kevin Ainsworth, right? Like trying to take care of our patrons. Like I'm a big believer in share your good fortune, right? And so like it's a code. It's not a big deal, but like Court Lalonde was very kind and reached out and sent me a TMNT code for the TMNT Mutants Unleashed game, like because he had access to that. So I love when people take care of one another. It's important.
Yeah, especially when coverage is hard to get from PR, and you're looking to cover something because you're excited about it, but you just haven't got that connection or that access.
Right.
It's always nice when folks can kind of reach out to each other and kind of see. I know like Joseph Moran, PS Trophy Room, your son, constantly like hitting you up being like, Dad, do you have the contact for this PR company so I can reach out to them about this? And you're like, yes, let me open my Rolodex and pull it out for you.
All the time. And he doesn't listen. He'll be like, hey, who'd you talk to for that thing? And I'll be like, this person, I told you about it a week ago. No, that doesn't sound right. Scrolls back, looks at it. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy.
I'm guilty of the same thing though.
We all are, Let's shout out a coffee chicken chat, X Bacon Gaming, Silken It, Gentlestone, hanging out with us today. I believe I saw Lord James Suddy and Nissa Hauer in the chat as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I'll ask any and all people, whether you're watching live or on the VOD, to please click that like button and share the show. It helps us out tremendously.
Also, before we get into it, if you guys have questions, feel free to tag me in them. I will start favoriting them throughout the show and see if we can get those for the end of the show when we do the community questions and stuff as well too. So just a heads up on that.
That is smart. Good call. Addy Dotun in chat says, are we talking about Path of Exile 2? No, I did play Path of Exile 2 at Summer Game Fest. Now it came away impressed, but I will point you to Season Gaming. They've got some incredible coverage on Path of Exile 2. I did not participate in the most recent stuff that they did. Just not enough knowledge in my base to try to cover that one properly. So
I heard it needed guns. That's what I heard.
It's good though. I enjoyed it at Summer Game Fest.
That's what I learned about Pal World.
Oh, gotcha. Right. Well, that's fair. All right, Logan. Let's talk about. Let's start with cloud gaming updates for this week. I'd like to talk about some cloud gaming updates.
Can we?
Yes, absolutely. Take it away.
So yeah, the initiative that that Xbox talked about forever ago, where they are going to start allowing you to stream your own games through xCloud, is starting to actually roll out. This is something that they've talked about for years, being able to stream your library on your devices away from your Xbox, so that you can actually enjoy the content that you've quote unquote purchased, right? I don't know if you consider it being purchased or not, but I like to think that I've purchased a license and have some rights to that, but it'll take some legislative changes to be able to firm that up. But yeah, they just put out a video. I'm trying to remember what the actual video was called. I think it was just Stream Your Own Game. And it was really liked that video. One of the things that I didn't realize was actually coming, that was part of that, was the console version of Rust, which is a survival game pretty popular on PC through Steam. Does not have controller support through the PC. And I was genuinely kind of surprised that they're actually porting it to the MetaQuest 3. Because I have not seen or heard of survival games making their way outside of, I think, Green Hell to the Quest. So I'm really glad that they're doing this. They're doing a small rollout of content. I want to say it was about 120 different games. All of them are games that are not currently available on Game Pass Ultimate, something that I stupidly didn't think about when I was sitting here making comment oh, they missed Black Ops. I can't believe they didn't get Call of Duty on there. And they're like, it's already on Game Pass Ultimate. You stream it already. And I'm like, oh, right. Which brings me to a question that the Muffin Mon, Kevin Ainsworth, actually brought up, is something that actually rubs him the wrong way. So I'm going to pose a question to you, Luke.
Okay.
Kevin wants to know, why should this be locked behind Game Pass Ultimate?
Oh, the easy answer is that eventually it should not be eventually, but right now this is a rollout beta, and we saw, even most recently with Microsoft Flight Simulator, that when you open the floodgates to things, to the masses, you're not always going to get the result you want, right? And so having a staged rollout is important. I'd also imagine that by being locked behind Xbox Game Pass, they're able to control not just how many people get access to the stream your own library aspect of it, but they're also able to kind of protect themselves from any type of licensing faux pas. Good example given by Brad Sams on his YouTube channel. He's a great coverage person for Microsoft and Xbox. Was that tech. Just tech in general. Yeah, he's genuinely one of my favorite channels. Does EA want you giving people access to their cloud-based Madden 22, Madden 23? No, they want you buying Madden 24, Madden 25, etc. And so there might be some faux pas in that, and I think that's part of what's going on there. It being locked behind Xbox Game Pass is, I think, good for right now and bad for a long-term vision of getting more people to play. because I want it to work, right? I've seen
Yeah.
cloud gaming grow and get better across all these devices. We had a great conversation last week about what the actual goals of Xbox are and how they want to reach players, and if hardware should be the barrier or it shouldn't. And that's where the This is Xbox campaign came in. I will say they added 50 games out the gate that if you own, you can just play. And these are like Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk and some of the best games that are out there. And so it's really strange to me, some of the people pretending that they're going to be like, but I own Kingdom of Keflings. Why can't I? And it's like, hush. Like, I think you're being a little, insincere about what you actually want and how often you use cloud gaming. Let this be a rolled out element. Let this be a rolled out thing until they get it truly right. We've seen the tech team make the rounds on Xbox Officials podcast and in socials that they're doing as much as they can to create a sincere ecosystem of Xbox where you can play your most recent games, just load up, hit servers. And it's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And so I think that's the reality of what's going on. I do want to note that, well, I have a different point about, bring your own game today. But I also, real quick, I feel like I own those games. Like, I don't mind that it's a license or not. Like, I let those emotions go long ago when I switched into digital gaming and not physical.
I'm so sorry.
And so, no, not I'm so sorry. Like, your discs
shout out to the GameStop fams out there who still go into physical stores and pick up the disc and rub it and hold
there
it
are
close
dozens
to your heart.
of you. That's right.
Can I say something real quick? Can I jump in real quick? I gotta say, first off, Logitech G Cloud did an update where they're offering 1080p on their beta app for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
This little baby right here, Warhammer, Space Marine 2, should have been Game of the Year contender in my opinion, but that is one that a lot of people, or not a lot of people, I had people reach out on socials being like, hey, is this live? Like, how do I know if this is live? If you have the game, it's just on your Game Pass app and you can just jump in and play there. Like, you can actually, like, I do not, like, Space Marine 2 is not on Game Pass. It is on the list of games that you can stream. So when you own it, it'll just have like a little checkbox next to in the corner of the little tile and be like, hey, this is something you own. You can play this now. It'll either have like that or nothing. And if it'll have that or nothing, then you can buy it and bring it into that library if it's not on Game Pass. Otherwise, it'll just say little Game Pass in there. But I'm really glad that they did this because now I can take this little guy around the room with me and just have the little access to certain games that I've got right now on my Logitech G Cloud. I was really happy about that.
That's cool, dude. That's
but what was
cool.
what was the other point that you were wanting to make aside from killing the hopes and dreams of all the physical media people out there who like to quote unquote own their content?
Well, they should. Physical gaming is just gone. Like, I don't understand why people are pretending like it's still a thing. I don't know.
It's a thing, Luke.
But it ties tangentially, like the stream your own game element ties tangentially to Game Pass and whether or not Game Pass sales can support or help a game. And I think that kind of loops back to just being on cloud. Does that help the game overall? Because we saw two high-profile games for different reasons launch into Xbox Game Pass and still get substantial sales, substantial traffic. Most recently being Stalker 2, and they announced that they sold over 1 million copies in under 48 hours. That's a big deal, right? That hit top seller on Game Pass and Steam. Despite all of its, glitches and frustrations, like, it sold 1 million copies in 48 hours, despite being on Game Pass, right? And then you had reports out of Circana, like Matt Piscatella's group, that are just, very reliable, saying that this Black Ops 6 surpassed year-over-year Call of Duty sales, and the gaming subscriptions this year went up by 16% year-over-year from like last October, which is where Modern Warfare 3 was. So it's clearly Game Pass is not damaging gaming, damaging the sales of high-profile releases. I think maybe there's some that you can always dive into data and debate about indies or smaller AA's, what have you. But clearly the damage it's not a Game Pass problem. Game Pass did not hurt either game. In fact, I would argue it's helping them, with a comfortable counterpoint to be, Flight Sim. All these people have that game and it sold very quickly on Steam, but then got, bombed because the servers were not prepared, and I think Xbox really needs to figure it out.
Well, they pulled back a lot when COVID ended.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, COVID's still around, but like the fear of COVID being an issue has really subsided now. It's a lot more like the flu.
Mm-hmm.
So they've cut back a lot of the servers that they've had for xCloud. Like we just know that's the case. I think they've been slowly ramping that back up because they want to ensure that that they have the games and the servers available to be able to like move forward with this initiative. But it was clear that they pumped up. I mean, we even saw the reports that they were not selling Xbox Series X's during the holidays because they wanted to make sure that xCloud had the servers to be able, or like the hardware to be able to get those games available through Project xCloud. Mm-hmm. So it's not surprising to me that if they're running into the problem with like servers not being available, it's because they've had to pull back a lot of that because we saw like a dip, and this is probably a good chance for them to actually start ramping that back up and getting it back to a state where anyone can jump on at any time without a queue and play Microsoft Flight Simulator and have those servers working properly, as well as like Project xCloud and streaming your own games.
Flight Sim is one of those, I think, unique ones in the Xbox game sphere. You look at Flight Sim, it's available on PC. It's largely a PC-based game. It's on consoles. I strongly think it's going to PlayStation 5 soon. It's also got a VR mode, which not a lot of Microsoft Xbox games have that. And then, of course, you can play it on your G Cloud, your ROG Ally, your any other. You can even play it on your mobile if you want to link in the cloud there. And it's just available in so many places, but it's completely live service based. Like there's no campaign per se, right? Like COD at least has a campaign. And so I just think being available in all those ways and having the VR mode, that's a lot to manage. And it is a quiet testament.
Nah, it's simple. You could have like one guy just like behind a desk hitting buttons. That's what I understand about it.
Oh, you're being funny. I see. I panicked for a minute. I was like, Logan, no, please don't think that.
As if I actually know anything. Come on.
But like just to see, seeing all the people that like are all the things that go into making a flight sim. And I genuinely wonder if sometimes like, is that all that necessary? Like, do you need to have live updates and weather and stuff? Couldn't you just have a game with the world? But that makes it special. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about having something that mirrors, because like I'll speak to this from a Sea of Thieves perspective, knowing that the storm goes the same way on every single server and the time is synced up on every single server. It means that everyone in the game, regardless of time zone, is experiencing the time and weather and Sea of Thieves that everyone else is at the same time. And there's something interesting and unique about that because there's been meteorologists that have been dedicated to Sea of Thieves, so much so that they actually built out a storm tracker on websites. So you can genuinely see the trajectory of the storm. Like they've plotted it out and figured out like how the actual storm moves throughout the game. And they do a live update on that all the time on those websites. So it's something people care about. It's something that really brings in some unique atmosphere. Like if you're, say you're stormy where you're living and you're tired of it, but there's a really nice weather going on down in Florida, or there's a tropical storm that's going to be coming in. You want to go check it out. You could potentially jump into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and be able to go check that out, be able to do stuff that you normally would not be able to, because chances are you probably don't have the connections and the knowledge to be able to jump into one of those storm chaser planes and go sail or fly into the middle of the eye of a hurricane.
That's true. And it is neat. I just wonder if like they're not overly stressing themselves. But Gentle Stone in chat saying Microsoft runs whole corporations in Azure. Gaming is just a different computer task. I guess, but it needed to work, and it didn't work. I will say that.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Didn't work. That's the important part.
Yeah.
I know. no recourse for that. But it was it seems like that was kind of the headline for this week. It didn't work and it needed to.
It needed to. Flight Sim, for Flight Sim specifically, yes. Now I do need to say that Microsoft gifted us a code. Downloaded it up. I don't know when I'll boot it up, at some point. I do want to go and play it because I think it's really cool, but that's not a game that I am rushing to fly. Like, that's a cool evergreen game that, like, it's going to be a Flight Sim, I think, no matter what. And at some point I think I'm going to link my Quest to my PC and play it through that just to see. But really, I want to give that game time. And the same can kind of tangentially be said of Stalker, right? Like, the game launched and every reviewer that played it noted some performance issues, despite it having a Metacritic and OpenCritic of, upper 70s. And then, the day one patch is hitting and smoothing out a lot of concerns. And in general, I think everybody that I know and everybody I saw on socials really seems to want Stalker 2 to be the game. They wanted it to be a Game of the Year candidate because it's this wonderful underdog story of a Ukrainian team who had to delay their game multiple times because of Russia's invasion and all the issues there. And so you want it to be the game. And it came out and it is a very good game. I think your experience on PC is going to be different than that of console. And I think Digital Foundry did some coverage
100%.
you're ready to talk about. And so I do plan on playing Stalker at some point. It is on my to play list. Stalker and a few others I am ready to play, but I am not getting to that one day one also, because I'm probably going to put Star Wars Outlaws ahead of it. Star Wars Outlaws just got its big, revamp the game, fix all the things patch. And so it's like, all right, if I don't have to play it and I'm not like dying to play it, waiting is just the right call.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I was expecting a deeper discount for Outlaws, given the PR behind the game. I was expecting them to try and pull people in more with a deeper discount, and I think the best I've seen this season has been $53. So in a year, I'll probably jump into that and really enjoy it and talk about how it's one of the greatest games, game of the year contenders for 2025 or 2026 or something like that. But the whole Stalker 2 thing was very disappointing when I first saw a lot of the initial responses. I myself went in and played it on my PC. Now, granted, I'm running a Ryzen 9, the last gen from 2023, and 4080 Super. So my PC's big enough to be able to handle like a nice chunky thing at 4K 60 frames. Should be no problem on epic settings. Granted, the monitors I have are only 1080p at 60, so I need new monitors to be able to really take advantage and push up those settings. But even with the pared down settings that I had, I was still running into a lot of frame stutters and issues. NVIDIA put out a driver and that smoothed out pretty much everything. I locked my frames to 60 as opposed to uncapped. That fixed a lot. So outside of screen tearing and the occasional frame pacing issue, the game looks and runs really well. And I've been enjoying my time in there. It is very much like a grounded version of Fallout. So if you like that dystopian future, but you want something that's more grounded in reality, like a PUBG, you're going to really enjoy Stalker 2, because a lot of the things that I've enjoyed about Fallout games are present in Stalker 2. And so far everything has been interesting enough for me to jump in. I jumped in at Stalker at first and got killed twice within the first hour. I missed the tutorial like hints that there was a flashlight, so I'm running around in the dark, couldn't see what was going on, died obviously. So I jumped back into Recruit, which is the story mode, and have been enjoying that a lot better now that I know that there's a flashlight, and I've been paying closer attention to the tutorials. Doing a lot better, having a lot of fun. It is a very interesting game, from like an inventory over encumbrance thing, picking up weapons, checking durabilities, making sure I have ammo, unloading weapons. Like, they've done a lot that reminds me of PUBG, but in that kind of dystopian society where there's like these zones that you go into that have these anomalies that you have to try and like pop to get through by throwing like a little bolt into them,
Right.
and talking to other stalkers like out in the field. It's interesting to me that this game has done so well and is working in Unreal 5, given the nature of like the game development process. Like, by no means did I expect this game to look and do so well, considering it was being they were trying to make it like while dealing with bombs.
Yeah,
So
no kidding.
I've been very interested in jumping back in. It's something that I'm probably going to be doing as well, but I'm having to like balance that between playing Call of Duty multiplayer and zombies, and then trying to take time to do the campaign so I can work on that, because I'm enjoying the campaign, but I have not finished it up. But so far, like the missions in the the Call of Duty campaign, I'm just genuinely like impressed with it. Like, it is just one of the best campaigns that I've played in Call of Duty.
Did you play 2 and 3? Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
So, and those were good. They were definitely a lot of fun. But the way that Call of Duty is going about this campaign is less of, we're going to stick you in and you have to make it through I'm trying to think of the way to explain this. Make it through like a level. Like, it's a very linear path. You just run right through kind of thing, as opposed to in this one where they've literally built little tiny versions of games, like little indie versions of other games into the Call of Duty world and campaign. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm playing like a Resident Evil right now. This is weird.
That's cool though, dude. You have a question in chat from Gentlestone that I think is a relevant one. He says, do you think their experience, he's talking about the Stalker 2 team, added to the authenticity of Stalker? And for any listeners unaware, the Ukrainian team dealing with, the Russian bombs, Stalker is in this post-apocalyptic, environment. Do you think that added to the authenticity, or is that just a convenient stretch of awfulness, if that makes sense?
I would say that they knew going into Stalker 2 like what they wanted to do. The world and the atmosphere, the story that they're telling so far feels very much like a sequel, like a proper sequel to Stalker 1. So I think that they kind of knew, like, going in, like what they were hoping to achieve with this. So I don't think that they necessarily would have been able to pull too much from their real life experience outside of what artists already pull from. If anything, I would say like maybe there's a chance that they maybe pulled in some of the stress of dealing with tense and intense environments all the time, to be able to help kind of inform, like, how they go about that. But most of that experience is all going to be told through the voice actors, and the voice actors are the ones that have to have the good enough direction to be able to convey the emotional state that those characters are going through. So while the devs may have had a lot of experience and tried to build in some of those situations where you have to make a hard choice because of what's going on in their lives right now, I don't think that them setting a game in the post-apocalyptic world really added anything or really like garnered anything from the already stressful situation that they have been dealing with when building it. But I could be off on that. That's just kind of my perspective on the small amount of time that I've been able to put into it so far.
Right. And I'm anxious to dive in at some point as well, because I want to experience that world. I'm just giving it time. I'm not rushing. We talked about XEP's theme in, what is it? 2023 games find the fun. In 2024, it's games aren't work, and I'm making sure I don't work to play my games. I wrapped up Arizona Sunshine, and I'm finishing up Vader Immortal, and I'm almost done with Batman, and I'm just enjoying these as I have time. I'm not pushing myself to check things off the list, because I genuinely ruined God of War Ragnarok for myself that way, and I don't want to do that again.
Which is a shame, because it's a fan-frickin-tastic game.
I mean, it's not as good as the first one, but yes.
I think
the first one was right. It's so reductive to say that.
No. I because I know where you're coming from. I understand. I think that the if I'm gonna throw my 2 cents into that comment, not to expound too much on it, obviously, but there was something that was beautiful about the Superman versus villain kind of story that was being told in God of War 1. That was a lot more, it felt a lot more personal.
Right.
Whereas with this one, you still had that with the second one, you still had that with Thor and Odin, but the story shifted away from Kratos, which is hard for people who are big fans of just Kratos. Whereas like I actually liked when they went and switched over to Boy and kind of expounded upon his story, built a little bit more depth into him. And then plus like some of the other characters, like the tertiary characters getting their own little spotlight, I thought was very beautiful. And I know that that's not going to resonate with everyone because a lot of folks do very much go in for that. I am Kratos. I want to play the game as Kratos kind of thing. So I don't blame anyone for preferring one, given how 2 was built.
Right. Fair enough.
Weird thing to get into. But I wanted to justify your feelings on that.
I appreciate that. Logan, something we neglected to do that last week was give a shout out to our patrons. And this past week, I don't know what it was. I don't know where the generosity arrived from, but I am beyond grateful. We got 4 new patrons this past week, which is just, I don't have the words, because last week's episode of XEP Live, like people were very generous with their super chats, it was 2 weeks, it was celebrating the episode 250, and then to have these patrons come in, it just eases the burden of making a podcast so much, right? And it just means the absolute world. So I want to thank Ken Rosing, Mr. Shadow Rider, Fabian Winkler, and Regis Stella, the Brony Pirate, for becoming patrons this past week. They've been showing up in our Discord, having great conversations. Seeing their names there is a place of joy. And so I just wanted to thank them for becoming new patrons, and then read the tier 2 and 3 shout outs for patrons. Of course, channel members, your names are scrolling at the bottom, tiers 1, 2, and 3. But for those of you on Patreon, it's important to me that we read you guys out there. And so, Logan, there's a new pattern. Do you want to read it? Do you want me to read it?
I'll let you do the honors if you don't mind. I'm cleaning my glasses at the moment, and I have not got a chance to give myself the opportunity to read over them before cold calling into this script.
I got it, man. Well, we want to give our tier 2 and 3 Patreon members a shout out. Thank you to Ken Rosing, Fabian Winkler, Stephen H., Edward, Regis Stella, the Brony Pirate, Rob Frawley II, Tao Zochi, Nicholas Johnson, Randall Thor 19, Hafrican, Game Positive, Jampack Sam, Rick Davis, Matt Valdez, Red Beast, Dano 12, DJ Hero, Brendan Myers, aka the Winter Gamer, the Lord Sir, Master James Suddy, Sony's VP of Marketing, Kevin Butler, and anyone else that chooses to subscribe. We greatly appreciate you all. It's a new pattern there, so the cadence is different, but I updated the graphic with all of your names, and I'm so grateful to all of you guys, and I hope that you know how much it means to us that you support the show. So there we go.
It's true. Helps out with all the different stuff that we have to pick up on our own outside of just game releases when we don't get review copies.
Indeed. And I will point you towards, Logan's got some stuff in the hopper, hardware and software, which is exciting. So
I'm looking forward to it. I'm still waiting on the controller to show up. But I've been reading more and more into it. I can't talk about more of that, but I'm looking forward to putting time in, because the Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra 2, I dumped a ton of hours into that controller. Really got a good feel for it, and still think it's one of the better controllers that you can get for the price, given all the things that it does. So I'm looking forward to seeing like how this other controller is going to work out. But obviously can't give my experience without putting in the time.
Right. I know, and properly said. I am hopeful that a piece of hardware I'm able to get to review, because it's, as Xbox diversifies where it puts games, hence this is an Xbox, it's more important, I think, that those who are covering Xbox are trying to do a good job of it, make themselves available where they can to see how the experience is. And so I'm hoping to check out some of the portable stuff. I mean, one day if you're able to do a ROG Ally one, or you have G Cloud. You have a G Cloud, right?
I have a G Cloud, but I don't like it's all streaming, so I don't know what the native experience. I was actually looking at the ROG Allies this week because it's all Black Friday sales.
Yeah,
it's very tempting. It's extremely tempting, but yeah, I didn't think that the Samsung refrigerators were very portable.
No, those aren't.
I mean, if that's where you're hoping to get the hardware, like I appreciate the wanting to play games on there. That's like
why not?
I want to go in, get some pudding cups and some eggnog or whatever, like if that's what you want to, like, it's all right there. Just get some frozen pizza, pause the game, turn around, put it in the oven, turn back around, unpause, continue playing on your refrigerator.
Why not?
It's cool. Why not?
I like Gentle Stone's idea for next year. Game your game as a theme. That's a good call. But I want to check out more of these portables, particularly as Xbox is entering the handheld market. Like it said that we got to go where Xbox is if we're going to cover it. So it's just something to kind of look at there. HX saying the ROG is coming out with a new version. That's probably why they're on sale. Yep, absolutely. And if you're not willing, this is for anything almost tech wise. Like if you don't need the latest and greatest, there's always good deals on stuff. Always good deals. So interesting. Let's see here, Logan. Avowed. Can we talk Avowed? I want to talk Avowed.
Yes. Yeah. Are you starting to get excited for Avowed finally?
Yes, I am starting. I started getting excited for Avowed when they said that there was an option for third or first person.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. One of my favorite things in Starfield is being able to go between the two. Quick asterisk aside, Shattered Space is really not good. It's just not good. I'm so devastated. Like, and I'm like halfway through this thing. I'm like, God, it's a slog. Combat in Starfield, just please make a mission set where it's just go shoot this thing, fly, shoot this thing. Because like combat's solid. But like people will be like, oh, that's not what Starfield is. Starfield lacks a soul. At least in Shattered Space it does. And I really need something more there. Because I love Starfield's gameplay. Like the flying, the shooting and stuff. But like it's just got too many frustration points. But all right, Avowed. I'm going to stay focused here. Avowed. Really cool seeing a friend of the show, David Burdett, getting to go hands-on with a build for Avowed for gamingtrend.com. Please go check out his coverage. I saw Colt Eastwood had some time with it. I know Paris Lilly had some time with it. I watched his interview with the devs. Those devs were also on the official Xbox podcast. Like it looks like Avowed is really shaping up to be more than perhaps we thought it was. And I don't mean to sell expectations like this is a 25-hour, 30-hour, game of the year contender off the bat. But this extra time that it's had in not crowding this release window with indie and COD and Flight Sim, smart, because this extra time seems to be serving them well. And people are coming away very impressed with their time with it. And more and more, as I see this coverage, I am getting excited. So what coverage did you watch? I saw Paris's interview. I watched Colt's video. I listened to David.
So
what you got?
I stuck to the Xbox podcasts.
That was good too.
Because I wanted to get the official stuff with the main devs and have their kind of like showcase. I didn't want to spoil too much for this because this is the A team over at Obsidian, and they've been working on this for a long time. And I think that this game genuinely is going to be the Baldur's Gate 3 for me. And probably for you, to be perfectly honest, because everyone has really loved Baldur's Gate 3. Everyone thinks that the story and the characters are interesting. The choices that you can make are compelling, and the world and the gameplay is solid. I think that's what this is going to be for me, because this is more first person, third person action adventure kind of game. And that's what I want. I want to be able to throw spells. I want it like we played Immortals of Avium and absolutely loved it. And this is going to have that kind of opportunity to enjoy the game in that means where it's like having spells, having weapons, having things, and you're actively doing it as opposed to being a passive arbiter of what happens with your characters and leaving things up to chance. If I block, I should be able to block. I shouldn't have a chance to block. So I'm looking forward to this, even with some of the tropes about typical like games from Outer Worlds to Elder Scrolls Skyrim to Fallout and games where you have to manage your inventory. You have like spell charts, you have skill checks, you have things like that. Like those kind of trappings, not necessarily my bag, but I endure if the gameplay and the story is worth it. In Baldur's Gate, unfortunately, the gameplay was the hindrance there, even though the story was interesting. So I eventually just put that down because I could not stomach the turn-based. So looking at Avowed and watching the content, I'm sold. I don't need to see any more of this game. I know that the characters, the look of it is going to be Obsidian's look. But I'm ready to jump in and play. I'm ready to jump in and find what type of class or character I'm going to enjoy and go with that, because having 2 wands and throwing spells like some sort of wild Death Eater from Hogwarts is just a concept I want to play around with. But also I want to run around with a giant 2-handed bastard sword and see how many things I can kill with blunt trauma.
I think when I look at that game, I really get just the aesthetic, the vibe, the feeling just really seems to capture a magical like vibe. And that's just the best part. Because like fantasy, like when I play Elden Ring, which I love Elden Ring, like I had 160 plus hours in that game. When I played Elden Ring,
casual.
I don't know what it is, but I did not feel like it was a magical place. Right, I felt like it was a embittered and battle heavy, hard place to live. When I look at Avowed, and it's the color palette, I'm sure, the art style, but that looks like a magical, joyful realm that I can enjoy. And so, like, I'm excited for that experience for sure.
Can I ask you a question that came up to my mind when I was watching the Xbox podcast and talking about Obsidian? Obsidian, very keen. I saw this a lot with Outer Worlds because there was a lot of stuff in Outer Worlds that I missed my first playthrough. Missable content that can be missed if you aren't playing it. Building games, knowing that is a core intrinsic value of Obsidian, seems interesting to me. Like they build smaller experiences because they want players to go in multiple times and play through it and explore in different ways that they did. My first question to you, how do you play games if you do go back to play them again? Do you play them the same way that you did before because it's what was fun and you go through that? If you do, and this is for Chad as well too, I'm curious. I want to know, like, do you go back and play over these games multiple times? And if you do, let me know if you do them the same way that you did before or if you do them differently than the first playthrough. And my question is how do you feel about when devs create a game knowing that stuff is going to be missed on your playthrough and that they're comfortable with the fact that there's going to be large swaths of content that is never touched?
If I play through a game, I am me in that world. Right. And we've talked about this time and again. I want to be me in that world. So if there's a good evil path, I'm always going to choose good. I won't explore the evil path to see the dialogue and such. I can't get past the emotional side of that. When it comes to replaying through a game, I'm going to be me. I'm probably going to make the same choice with maybe some subtle mood-based differences. But I'm not going to be exploring dialogue paths and such. I just want to be me in that world, right? The hero of that world, or doing whatever I can to help in that world. That's my nature. As far as making missable content, I really did enjoy the Xbox podcast where they talked about like it helps keep the world alive and that they really feel like it's lived in. I don't think that's always a good call. I don't think that's always necessary. Like making entire things where people could just miss it really is strange. Like I was offended at our buddy Kevin Ainsworth over at Project X Talk when he dropped in our chat the day Shattered Space came out. He's like, finish Shattered Space. It's only like 3 hours. And I'm like, what? Like that's not Shattered Space is a bunch of different quests and experiences. The main campaign is disappointing, right? Like it's a very quick political blip of a campaign. That's when that's not good. But there's a lot of other stuff there.
Good description.
Thanks, man. I'm an English teacher.
You ever watched like you ever watched a kid eat a whole bunch of like food and they're just like bleh? That was Starfield's campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Everything that's special about Starfield comes separate from its campaigns. I think some of the side quests are great, but as far as making missable content and just being okay with it, I don't necessarily like all of the work that can go in and the delay and the time and whatnot. And then it's just like, oh, yep, they missed it. Like there needs to be a way to get that called out and spotlighted. And that means making compelling stuff. Starfield's best stuff to me was the Crimson Sky storyline. Tons of cool flight, tons of cool battling, combat. That's what I enjoy. There are other people that love the dialogue stuff, but sometimes I think like when you make a big game like that, the option, you're master of none. So with Avowed, I am less concerned on the nature of Obsidian's talent, but with Bethesda, you made so much missable content, you forgot to make worthwhile content. And that's the difference. You need to make, if your main stuff is worthwhile, I think it's a little different.
Interesting. Okay. The reason I bring this up is because while I was watching this video, I was thinking like, oh, that's weird that they'd want to have stuff that's like completely missable. And I was thinking about like opportunities where I've played through games where there has been stuff that I've missed. And there's been times where there's stuff that I found. And what I was really surprised by was when I realized there is a part in Cyberpunk 2077 that I genuinely didn't realize was like a side quest. I thought it was just a weird thing that somebody threw into the game. And I would have never I never stumbled upon it naturally as like go here, do this quest, you'll get reward X, right? And if you've played the game and you found this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you've missed out. But I'm talking about Skippy.
Is that the gun that talks?
It's the gun that talks.
Okay.
And that is something that you just happen upon. And if you never go into the right zone, in the right area, in the right time during your playthrough, you will never find out about Skippy. But Skippy was one of the times where I genuinely was surprised by the game, by content that was completely missable. And I fell in love with Skippy to the point where Skippy and I had ourselves a little friendship, and we were like trying to determine like, okay, what's going on? And I made the mistake of one time telling Skippy, I want to be in pacifist mode. And Skippy was like, okay, pacifist mode on. And I was like, no, never mind. I want the murderous one. And then after a while, Skippy's like, I think I'm going to stop now. I think you've murdered too many people. I think you need to seek psychiatric help. I'm not going to fire for you anymore. And I'm like, Skippy, no, why? You're my favorite. So there's stuff like that in the game that, you know, it wasn't a quest to go find Skippy. It was something that I stumbled upon in the middle of an alley, and I picked up this gun and it started talking to me, and I was like, this is one of the coolest guns I've ever seen in the entire world. And granted, that's coming from someone that's like, I understand what Borderlands is. This is a way cooler gun. So I was really enjoying that. So when I think about that in relation to Avowed and how there is potentially like missable content, that's the kind of stuff that I hope that they put in, because it was a genuinely interesting and unique experience for me that a lot of people probably did have. Like I'm seeing Gentlestone and stuff like have seen and experienced Skippy in Cyberpunk 2077. I hope that there's experience like that, because it creates a moment where you feel like you've kind of stumbled upon something that's unique and exciting. And that is very powerful when it comes to immersing yourself into a game, in my opinion.
I think that it's so powerful because Cyberpunk is so worth playing on so many levels. Yeah. You compare it to Starfield, and I don't think it's quite the same case. You look at something like Elden Ring, where the skill that is needed to see a lot of that content locks people out of it. So like I missed out on, 160 hours. I played so much Elden Ring. Casual. But how much did I miss out on? A lot. a lot. I wasn't exploring builds. I wasn't doing anything other than trying to survive. And there are others who thousands of hours and still haven't seen everything. And I just don't know that that's worth it in every case. I don't know. I do think it's a case by case. You can't catch all answer in a sweeping motion this question, right?
No.
This isn't
it's broad.
Yeah, it's not a binary yes or no answer. I think it's just very dependent. And I think I keep comparing to Starbucks because that's been the most recent big RPG that one I played, but two that Xbox put out. And I think Avowed has a chance to make Xbox the RPG home, right? Because like on paper they should be. They have Obsidian, they have Bethesda, they have In Exile, like they should be the place. Fable, right? Fable.
Can't wait.
Side note, Jez Corden or shared some stuff that he saw. He put kind of impressions out into the ether on his platforms about having seen some stuff for Fable, and he came away very impressed. Sounds like Fable's on the right track, and I wonder I wonder when we'll see that, right? Like I wonder if that's going to be Game Awards, Dev Directs. You think the game is not coming out next year?
I think they'll delay it. I think that there's a good chance that they'll want to give this some time. And GTA 6 is next year. I don't think anyone wants to go up against GTA 6. And I think Fable's their next game of the year contender. So I'm thinking like they'll probably push it to 2026.
Interesting. I do not think they'll push it, but I think there's a case to be made for if they do have hardware coming in 2026. Launch that side by side. So
get a console wrap.
Maybe like there's no ill logic in that, right? Like it wouldn't hurt. But so next year we know they have Doom, we know they have Avowed. There'll be a new Call of Duty. What else would they have? What else would they have? What else is there? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
That's a really good question. I can't think of. I know there is a lot that they've announced. Everwild.
That game's never coming out.
That game is not a game.
South by Midnight. That's coming. That was the other one. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
South by Midnight's a big deal. Like that game is going to be good.
I'm looking forward to that one because it looks and plays like other games that I've played in the last 2 years. And I love those. And I'm so looking forward to the South by Midnight. It looks pretty. It looks so cute. I'm ready to let myself I
don't think it's cute at all. I think it's badass.
Oh, cute as far as I love the characters and the interactions that they've done. So I'm looking forward to giving myself over to that experience.
Yeah, fair. You mentioned Game Awards, the nominees for the Game Awards for Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, I should say, came out, and I think I am just very sour on that after such a weak showing last year, a bad Summer Game Fest. And just genuine, I didn't enjoy meeting him. He was not very polite to me, and that's a very microcosm thing, right? I shouldn't even put it out there because he was probably stressed as hell. But that said, I'm not very high on the Game Awards this year. I saw the announcements and the who they're nominating and such, and I found that it's very clear that this year the things that I have loved were not mainstream loves by a lot of people. And that is, again, nothing wrong with it. Gaming has gotten so big and so of such a high bar that it's all right, cool. That's no problem. I was put off by the idea that Elden Ring's DLC is up for Game of the Year. I think that's really foolish. And I was disappointed with the choice of all the journalists that were involved in voting. That's not a Keighley problem. That's a industry, but I think that's a very poor choice.
You open the floodgates for that, and that becomes a Keighley problem. If he wanted to, he very easily could have said hey, we're making a remaster or a DLC
expansion
category, and allow Elden Ring to have that, because Phantom Liberty was a Game of the Year contender in my opinion last year and got snubbed because it was a DLC. So there are some major things that I think if you're going to be doing this, you need to be very cognizant of how this is going to look. Him putting DLCs as something that's possible for Game of the Year when it's a DLC, you can't just buy Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree and play it. You have to own Elden Ring. That is the stipulation behind how that game works. And as far as I know, granted, I haven't played it, you need to be relatively deep into Elden Ring to be able to access that DLC. So Keeley, like, naively opening up the opportunity for DLC to be put into the game of the year was very much like one of those situations. Like, he stepped on a rake he did not have to do, and everyone went along with it because it'll get articles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, even if the game was worth it, it's still technically a DLC. It should have been its own category. It shouldn't have been put up for game of the year because it's not a full game. It's a part of a game that was already game of the year 2 years ago.
So yeah, okay.
Sorry.
I agree with you.
Sorry.
On all that. I think it's messed up that it's even an option. I thought, and my understanding was, it wasn't Jeff Keighley specific that it was up for nominee. I thought there was a panel of people involved that worked with that. That's why I worded it the way I did.
Yeah, but I mean, where does the buck stop? At the end of the day, it's Keighley. It's his show. It's his deal. He's the one that's making it's if the idea was put up on panel, it should have been him that said no.
Right.
Because he's the one on stage introducing all this stuff. He's the one that's bringing Pot Man out onto stage to do a couple little circles. He's the one that's inviting Kojima to walk out on stage, wave his hand and say, "Hi, I still make video games, not movies yet."
Right.
Like, it's his call. He should own up to that. He's the one posting, photos of his 30th anniversary PlayStation thing. It's just, he should have put it into a different category. There shouldn't be this question of what's a game, because DLC should be considered DLC.
Right. No, I agree. Like, I agree with that aspect. I just wasn't going to fully assign, but I'm with you on it overall. Like, because I do not like DLC being an option there. I think we've had too many great expansions get snubbed in the past, and I think the show's inability to evolve is a problem. I do like that the Game Awards are this icon where the industry does come together and they all get together in a room, and I like that aspect. And like, we're not at the level where we're doing Avowed preview events and playing indie early and stuff, and we're not going to the Game Awards, but it's neat to see those that are. And I think those are healthy and important for our industry. But I have soured so much, and like, I don't need to watch your commercials for Amazon, whatever, or 15 commercials for, like, the joke is what, the Schick Pro Razor Man. It's like, all right, guy, like that's an old joke, but like, after last year where they just shuffled these amazing developers off the stage and then rolled an ad for some Amazon whatever, it's like, no, like, I'm not interested.
So I'm not going to fault Keeley for needing advertising to pay for this show.
No, I won't fault that. I'll fault the delivery of it, though.
The delivery definitely warrants criticism. I think at the heart of it, he's still trying to. There was a really good article, and I can't remember who it was, but they put out a really good point that there are too many games, just in general. There's too many games for people to play. So there are really, really good games out there that people have played, but journalists have not covered because they don't have the bandwidth, and they have to look at what's going to be considered zeitgeist material that is going to warrant the articles to be able to draw traffic so that the advertising on their websites will help pay the bills. So at the end of the day, it's all flawed until you start to look at game awards like the DICE Awards, where it's dev focused. It's a lot more boring because they aren't trying to get like exclusive reveals. It's just a celebration for the devs on what their games did. But people are looking for another E3 in fall or in winter. They're not looking for a Game Awards. Game Awards is just the reason why we have all of these reveals. So if they just cut out the Game Awards aspect of this and just did another version of E3 in the winter, that was an update on stuff that happened 6 months after the Game Awards, I think people would still show up.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, I agree. I'm just, well, we'll see how it goes, right? Like if they take
Yeah.
feedback and they process it well, cool deal. At the end of the day, none of what's nominated has changed what I've enjoyed this year, and I've enjoyed a lot. And I've got a lot. Like December, I'm looking forward to several things, which is cool. Behemoth, NVR, Rita's Rewind for Power Rangers, Indie. Like I'm looking forward to those. I'm about to start Star Wars Outlaws at some point, Stalker at some point. Like I've got so much to play that I'm just like, cool. Like my game of the year is Arkham Shadow right now, and I'm almost done with it. And good Lord, it's good. And a lot, I feel like I would talk about it the way that people talked about Asgard's Wrath 2 years ago because it's in VR. No one's going to play it. The way people that haven't played Balatro think of Balatro, like I haven't played Balatro, but like the logic is once you play it, you get it. But other people are looking at like, why is this little card game? It's one of those things that until you know, you know. And until you know, you don't know, I guess. But
you only know what you know.
Yep. I didn't hear what you said. Say it again.
You only know what you know.
Yeah, that. Age of Mythology Retold got nominated for Best Sim and Strategy, and then Vessel of Hatred, Innovation and Accessibility, and Best Ongoing Game. I'm scrolling. Hellblade, which is one of my favorite games this year, and one of my games of the years.
Hellblade 2 came out this year.
It did. Got nominated for Best Narrative, Best Audio Design, Best Performance by Melina Jurgens, and Games for Impact. I friggin' love Hellblade 2. I really, really love that game. I hope more people play it. But I think that
Stellar Blade and Hellblade 2, the blades of this year. Granted, we're not going to get Blade for a while, but the two blades that we did get this year, both snubbed for Game of the Year over a DLC. That hurts.
That's how you looked at that one. I loved Hellblade 2. I really hate the flack that it got. But those are the only Xbox representations that I see, unless I'm missing something. And I'm on their website. I'm on Xbox's website. So, are
you considering Activision Blizzard content now as Xbox as well, like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft?
I said Vessel of Hatred. Yeah. Oh, COD. I guess COD technically. I'm sorry. I totally missed on COD. Thank you. Best audio design, innovation and accessibility, best action game, best multiplayer. So that got nominated as well.
Yeah.
That got nominated as well.
Blop 6.
COD Blop 6.
Which is a fantastic acronym, by the way.
I was happy to see that. What is it? Kinitsugami got some love. And Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown got some love. I love those two games. Those were great.
You like that one?
I did. I really did. It was really good. It's just weird. But yeah, I looked at the awards and I was like, man, a lot of my favorite stuff this year just isn't represented. That's all right. That's cool.
Yeah. Is the fact that we have them is just a testament to how the game industry works. It doesn't need to be the blockbuster game. Like it doesn't need to be the Red Dead Redemption 2. It doesn't need to be the GTA 6 that everyone's going to play. Everyone's going to find something that they love. And as long as you are finding that content that you love, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I don't know if you're good to round up on the Ye Olde Game Awards, or if there was something else you wanted to talk into, because I just remembered that there was something that got announced that I forgot about, that I was reading about late last night.
Nope. And I don't have strong feelings on Game Awards. Hit me. What you got?
So this comes over from Noble on Blue Sky, and this is an article that he shared from purexbox.com that Xbox is making big changes to avatars in January 2025. Did you see this news?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So
end of an era.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, beginning January 9th, 2025, the application that you use to edit your avatar in Xbox is going to no longer be available. I came into the whole avatar thing in the Xbox 360 era fairly late. Like I didn't really know what was going on. I created one for the sake of Kinect and being able to have that for bowling and stuff. But this is something that feels kind of like a shame. And the reason that they gave was that there was low engagement with the program, and that Xbox is starting to focus on delivering other player experiences instead of supporting the avatar. So they did say all Xbox Avatar purchases from November 1st, 2023, not 2024, through January 9th, 2025 will be refunded to your valid payment instrument after the Xbox Avatar Editor app is no longer available. You can check your purchases and refund history on your account. So as of January 9th, ye old Xbox 360 Avatar app that has made its way for 3 generations now is being sunset. And it's kind of a sad thing because I actually really like the way my avatar looks in game, and had they offered more support over the years, especially with like cosmetics through achievements, I would have probably like spent more time actually like playing around with my avatar. But how did you feel about this when you read it?
I was like quietly sad. I was like one of those like smile to yourself. That's a shame. But like they've not supported it in so long. I really loved during the 360 era, the Connect era, where they like you could see your avatar and everything. They had games for your avatar, and I think that's a really underserved realm. They could have done some special stuff, like Forza Kart could have been special. You're riding around in mini warthogs and mini centaurs from Gears, and you got your avatar in the Crackdown armor, the Gears armor, Starfield stuff. Like they could have done lots of cool stuff with it, and they just didn't. And you know, I think we see so much potential there. We don't know what they did behind the scenes, but it's a bummer. But I'm no longer like I'm not sad about it because they've lacked support for so long. It's like being sad that your best friend from middle school is moving away and that you haven't talked to them in 20 years. It's like, oh, okay, all right. I think that's all it is. That's all it is.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm gonna miss the ability to have little pirate me running around. I mean, we have avatars in the emojis for our actual channels that are based on like what we are. I mean,
Their legacy.
Those legacy. We're just gonna sunset those too. Yeah. We're just gonna take them out back and Old Yeller. Our avatars at the start of the new year. It's a new year, so no avatars. We're just going to have Apple use their Vision Pros to get turned into Xbox VR headsets, and they're gonna recreate our the version of us mixed with the Meta VR version of us with no legs, and that's going to be our new representation in this holistic conglomeration of avatar selfness with Xbox.
All right, I'm going to cut you off because you're just going.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate that.
Let's take our listener questions. We got some good listener questions.
Let's see, who do we got here? I put these all down. First off comes in from Trickster over on Discord. What is your game of the year so far? Mine is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. You got a game of the year?
I have several. Yeah. Are we to answer this in this context? I'm saying the games that I loved this year. Okay.
Yeah. Not necessarily what came out.
Right. I think those are different discussions technically. Yeah. Arkham Shadow is by far my game of the year so far. I not only did it introduce me to VR and the wonderful elements of VR, but it's generally just a great video game, and it's a great Arkham game, and Arkham is my favorite game series. So after Suicide Squad and thinking that Arkham was essentially dead, like thinking that Arkham Shadow was just going to be like a mini experience, and then getting in there and it's a full-on thing and it's so well done. I'm loving Arkham Shadow. I fell in love with Dead by Daylight this year, so that would be my second one, because I just absolutely adore that gameplay loop. I'm really enjoying the 2v8 events. I'm enjoying the different characters and cosmetics. I'm enjoying the community. So that's been a go-to. And then Hellblade 2, I think, are my current games of the year. Shout out to Arizona Sunshine Remake. That's again in VR. That is a really cool game. A really cool game. So I've got so much that I'm loving and so much that I'm enjoying. But when we have our proper game of the year conversation, which we're going to do with patrons, I think we talked about it in Discord. We haven't said it out loud. Our December, like at the end of December, patron community episode is going to be where we all just talk about our favorite games of the year. And so if you're interested in joining us for that, we're going to do that towards the end of December, early January. Just talk about the XEP games of the year, what we loved the most. And for anyone that's new to XEP, watching on VOD, watching live, we cover Xbox. We play games everywhere. We'll talk, of course, about our favorite Xbox games, but we love games, and we'll talk about games wherever we play them. So
yeah. I think for myself, so this year was a really weird year. Like everything that was my normal life got completely uprooted and flipped over. So I've had to basically reboot my entire life at 42. So I was not anticipating that. So a lot of the content that I did play this year was pretty small. Like I have a huge backlog just for stuff that actually came out this year. But what I did play, I played heavily and I loved, and that's so far been Helldivers 2, which
Great
unfortunately PlayStation exclusive on PC, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 are my two go-tos right now, because I still have Space Marine 2, I still have Flintlock, Hellblade, a plethora of other content like Dead Island 2 I've been meaning to go back into, but I played through all of the Gears of War I played through Gears of War 4 and 5 this year, and I will say 5 is an amazing game, an absolutely amazing game. Like
they're
genuinely, yeah, but 4 is very light as far as like how the development goes. It does what a Gears of War game needs to do. 5 very much felt like the Coalition was deeply seated in what a Gears game is, which is why I'm so excited for E-Day, because you can see the growth as a studio from 4 to 5. And I'm genuinely like, I cannot wait for Gears E-Day, because it was nice to go back and actually play through those. Knowing that I'm going to be going through the Halos again to have a better experience there. I can't wait to see if they come out with a remaster for 1, or a remake for 1. I think it would be great in the Unreal Engine to be able to have that experience and do that all over again. And I want to believe in the Halo studios to be able to like deliver on that experience, especially given the nature of like Unreal Engine 5 and Nanite and just all the stuff that you can do with it as far as like Lumen. There's a lot of really good, really beautiful like work that you can put into that. So I'm looking forward to that. But as far as like game of the year games right now, I would say like Helldivers 2 and Blops 6 are the two that came out this year that I really think are my Gears or games of the year. But Gears 5, playing through that this year was amazing. Really, really love that game. That would have to be on there.
Gears is so good. I love Gears of War. It just means the world that you got to enjoy it. I'm glad you did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Gears 5, apart from one moment, just top notch. Let's see our other listener question. I'll read this one. This one comes from Falcon Guy, who's new to our Discord, and one of our new patrons. Amazing people. Says, how does everyone take time in their busy lives for gaming? I find it harder and harder. My sweet spot is between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. when the wife and daughter are sleeping. I'm a night owl. I love playing in the morning when it's quiet. I get up at 5. I go to work at 6:30. I love playing in the morning when it's quiet. I try to play in the evenings I usually game from 6 to 8, give or take, ballpark. Depends on yeah, my wife and I watch a movie. But gaming to me, like in the evening, I don't have the social emotional. I don't like having my headset on and lots of voices and stuff like that. Like that's where Logan, to call back to the beginning of the show, talks about the timer, because I burn out of social, especially on Friday nights. Like Friday nights, Kev knows, like if I don't get to take a nap after work, I don't really want to talk to anybody. And I usually nap after work. I didn't get to yesterday. I worked till 5. So
that's why you were dipping so early. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance.
I didn't know you get the nap. I took a nap yesterday, so that was why I was like ready. I was like, all right, let's throw in the double boost. Let's go. So that makes more sense. Yeah. Interesting. I would say like right after work is genuinely like the time. So like I get off at 3:30. And I'm usually like ready to rock around that time, like 3:34. And I'll go till about 7 or 8, because I no kids, so I'm good on that. I got cats and everything's all automated with them, so I'm good. So I'll sit down and game push through stuff as much as I can, and then I'll use like the last couple hours of my night to sit down and watch something to kind of unwind and like chill out. And then if there's anything like afterwards that I actually need to like work on, and that's something that's like, that's when I start to kind of like go back and start looking at like, okay, do I need to work on anything for content and start going through that. So usually between like 4 to 7, 4 to 8, my time is usually like my prime kind of gaming time frame.
That's a good time. I get that.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's usually about the time that all the East Coast people are getting done with their night and ready to jump on.
What are you going to be playing in the next week? Like, what's your next week look like?
I need to finish up the Call of Duty campaign because that's like each mission takes me a while. I take my time with them, especially if there's like little espionage aspects. Like I just got done doing like an espionage mission in there. It took me forever, dude. I do not like stealth in games. I think stealth is a very stupid mechanic, honestly. Like I'm very much like just tell me where to go murder someone and I'll go shoot them. And if I shoot enough of them, then I don't have to worry about stealth. So I'm going to be working on that. I'm trying to think what else is there. I don't know. I've always got the staples, but like Sea of Thieves is going, like they just had their patch, and so far everything feels better. It feels like they've actually like taken the time to really kind of address a lot of the bugs and stability issues that I've been talking about for season 14. All the content's in the game now, and it's community weekend, so I'll probably be jumping into that. But I would like to try out more of Stalker 2 and Genshin Impact because those just came to Game Pass.
I wasn't thinking you'd play Genshin.
I have no clue. I found out this morning that I have to create an account to be able to play it. So I am going to see if I have or haven't actually. I think I have, because I think I've played a little bit of it on PlayStation, because everyone talked about it being like a gacha mechanic version of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I wanted to like check that out originally back on the day. But now that it's on Xbox Game Pass, huge game, by the way. Absolutely huge game. Very popular. That and Zen. I can't think of the other one. It's like Zenless.
I know what you're talking about, but I have no clue what it is.
It's one of the other gacha games. That and Zoneless Enders thing, whatever that is. Those two are like ones that just like people love to jump into. But I know there's other games like, Disney Dreamlight Valley that just got an update that I'm like,
yeah, Nissa loves that one.
Yeah,
Anubis loves it too.
Yeah, kind of. I played a lot of it when it first came out, but I haven't jumped back into it since the third patch or like the third update that they did. So yeah, I have no clue what that's like, but I remember enjoying it. It's like a Disney version of Animal Crossing, which Animal Crossing huge, and you throw Disney at it, and it's like makes money. So yeah, those are kind of the main things. Stalker 2, Genshin, Call of Duty, Sea of Thieves, Heroes of the Storm, kind of my staples. So got to get them the battle passes aren't going to get themselves done,
Right. I'm excited for Fortnite's new battle pass. I jumped in season 2 and it's not for me. I'm playing it because it's Fortnite and it's still fun, but like I would like a better.
They're bringing that OG stuff back, and I was never like big on the OG stuff. I like the new stuff. So,
but I'm a big fan of that. I like that and I like that in a lot of ways. You just talked about wanting a Gears remaster. What like cycle between new and classic on a regular cadence to give your devs a break, but also keep legacy fans, and you'll ebb and flow. But I like the map. It's just like that battle pass doesn't speak to me. Whereas something with the Ninja Turtles or Michael Myers will. And as a TMNT fan, by the way, I'm eating good. Like I'm loving Splintered Fate on PC. Yeah. You had my attention today, and I like to game in the background while we talk and stuff. I usually have been playing Splintered Fate. I was on Xbox 2 this past week, and I was playing Splintered Fate while we were talking. But today I wasn't. But I'm loving Splintered Fate. I want that to come to consoles so bad. So
that's too funny. Yeah. I had a joke and I can't remember what it was, and it's bugging me because I was no, it wasn't a joke. It was a World of Warcraft. You know how World of Warcraft a while back ago did classic, and they brought back so now they're doing classic.
I saw that.
Yeah, they've gone back and they've done classic. So anyone that wants to experience World of Warcraft classic as it was originally created back when they did Warcraft classic can now go back and play classic.
They saw that Sony mantra. They're like, wait, we can remaster stuff that's only 2 years old. Let's go. Yeah, that's what it was.
What do you mean we can just upload like the servers and start it up as a classic? It's like, wild.
If next week we don't get Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 remastered, I'm not interested personally.
Yeah. Like, why haven't we gotten like Starfield classic yet? Where you just go back before Shattered Space. You know, like that's should be on the docket, in my opinion.
Agreed. Alrighty, man. Well, I hope people are able to check both of us out over on Blue Sky. We seem to be really enjoying that as a social platform. It's way better, dude. It's way better.
It's way better over there.
It's way better. So find me on social at InsipidGhost, Threads and Blue Sky for sure. Looking forward to having my first preview video up on the channel at some point. I'm not sure how to make it. This will be a new venture for me, just like reviews are an ongoing learning process and such. This is a new step for me. And so I hope it goes well, because it, if I do this one well, then it will open the door for something. We missed a question from X Bacon Gaming, and I saw that the nerd chat, what is it?
We have another one too.
Joe didn't know it. Okay. So this is Bacon. I'll put it in there for this one. Bacon.
Sorry, I grabbed these last night. There's one in from Todd as well too.
All right. Bacon says, question for the show. Now that you no longer need a PS5 to play PS5 games, are you either selling your PS5s and just getting a Portal? Also, since it's locked to the higher tier of PSN, is it okay that cloud streaming is locked to Game Pass Ultimate? My level of frustration now is so high. I guess it's okay now to stream games because Sony said so. Just looking to help out the stables on Twitter. I get his question, because like now you can cloud stream on the Portal, which you couldn't do before, and everybody seemed to think that like cloud streaming's terrible and Xbox was doing it, but now that Sony's doing it, that's his point there. Very much do I think that that it's a good thing that you can do that. That is helpful. We want more people to play more games. I am not selling my PS5. I also am not getting a PS5 Pro. I use it far too little. I think the PS5 is a poorly designed physical console. But I'm ugly. Happy. Like, it's ugly. Yeah, I don't like it.
There are people that excuse ugly babies. I can't excuse this ugly baby.
Do that.
It's an ugly baby.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. Not okay.
It's okay to say the baby's ugly.
Firmly believe that. They're weird looking. They look like aliens. Not a fan. And I cannot stand people like, look how cute. And I'm like, ugh.
No.
Like,
the baby's ugly.
But I am not planning to upgrade in any way, shape, or form. If it was an Xbox, I'd be hard pressed to spend 700. 500 is kind of my max. Like, I got the Quest 3. It was a new ecosystem. It had 512 gigs, which for VR is high. Like, I see the Steam Deck. I genuinely would love a Steam Deck now that I'm enjoying PC gaming and cloud experiences and such. Like, I'm really enjoying TMNT and some of this stuff. But like, I cannot get behind more than $500 for hardware. I'm stuck there. Yeah, I can't mentally do it. Now, would I? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't know.
If I can tell you right now, if I felt like my graphics card was not being able to keep up to snuff, and they released a new graphics card, and that graphics card was like $900, I would spend $900 on that new graphics card, knowing that my PC would be able to handle it. If it comes to hardware, that's going to be harder. I would most definitely spend $300 to $400 on a handheld experience, but nothing yet has pushed me to that, because I've got enough hardware, everyone else. To get to the actual question, now that the PS Portal can actually like play PS5 games by streaming them, but it's locked to PSN. This kind of goes in line with Kevin Ainsworth, the Muffin Mon, his comment about how being able to stream your games through Game Pass Ultimate in xCloud should be something that is just opened up to you being able to stream your games if you own them. And honestly, I don't mind that you have to have PSN or Game Pass Ultimate to be able to stream games that are on those services or games that are on your library, because those games are not currently downloaded on your PS5 or your Xbox Series X or S. If they are, then you just log into your console through the gameplay or like the actual like PS Play or being able to log into your Xbox through your console connecting and play those games that way. You can just stream them that way, but you have to have them downloaded to be able to do that. So for me, these being tied to the services that are using servers and hardware on servers to play games that you do not have downloaded, even if you own them, makes sense to me. I'm not going to be getting rid of my PS5 anytime soon because it's one of the OG ones that has like the disk drive and stuff. And as far as I know, that's going to be something that is going to be harder and harder to get in the future because they keep detaching the actual the disk drive. So for me, a lot of my content on PlayStation comes at a discount because they still very much invest in physical media. So that's why I'm going to be hanging on to mine. I think the Portal's a stupid idea anyway. I've got the Logitech G Cloud. I get access to both ecosystems, including PC. So for me, limiting myself just to one streaming device for one ecosystem for the same cost, it just doesn't make sense.
The Portal looks so cool. It looks so impractical. Like, so impractical. It looks flimsy, but I've never had one. But like, would I play it? I don't know. Like, I love playing on my phone with my backbone.
I could
right?
see
We talked about this is an Xbox.
I could see you getting one if it was black and had a Batman logo on it.
Mother of God.
If you could just throw the Portal.
Look, that's a really, really insincere thing for you to say as I sit here in my Batman Secret Labs chair. That's really ridiculous of you to think that I would buy a piece of hardware like a Quest 3 to play the latest Batman game.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Hey, yeah. Meadow 1606. I haven't seen you live in forever, buddy. Good to see you, bud. Yeah. So
Todd's question comes in.
We got one more?
From Discord as well. Now that every screen is an Xbox, should Xbox make their own mobile controller for phones and tablets, like the backbone with the Xbox controller sticks and triggers and branding? Kind of going in line with X Bacon's question about the PS Portal. Xbox has this opportunity now to go ahead and create something like that. Luke Lohr, here in the front. Hi. Yes.
Yeah. Hi. First time, long time. Luke Lohr, XEP.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox partnered with with Razer Kishi to do exactly this. And the Razer Kishi has the Xbox button on it, and they have that. And they partnered with Backbone to do something similar. So do I think they should make their own? No. Continue the partner thing. I also think it's a signal to the future that later on in the gaming sphere, Xbox will not make their own hardware. They will license out to others to make an Xbox. They'll say, here are the build requirements, make your Xbox. And we will have a ROG Xbox. We will have a Steam Xbox or an Asus Xbox or something. I think that's the future of what Xbox is.
But Luke, Phil Spencer said that their handheld is still a few years out. So they're going to be making their own hardware.
They are going to make their own hardware, but they also put out an ad that said, you don't need hardware. So I don't know.
You do need hardware. You just don't need specifically Xbox hardware.
Yeah.
But that is still very much where the best is going to be.
I was on Xbox 2 this past week, or 2+1, or they were very nice to have me, Jez and Rand. And I'm dreading when that episode goes public, like not just to their patrons, because I was very much of the mind that now, and again, I wouldn't have said this a year ago, but like, I'm okay with it all. If it means I get more Xbox games, I'm okay. You don't need hardware. You don't need to go multi-platform. I just want more Halo. I want more Gears. but I am dreading because their audience is wonderfully large and like in many ways, I hope some of them jump over and check out XEP. But I am nervous for the masses to see that because I'm worried about the backlash. Because like I used to be in their camp. I used to just like want Xbox to send it all exclusive and sell their console and be the victors, but it's just not the direction that gaming is going. Not even Xbox, but gaming. And so a little nervous about the backlash that's incoming.
That's okay. You know what? Everyone is entitled to their opinions, and your opinions are correct for you. So you wanting to do away with all Xbox hardware and just have everything digitally. It makes sense, you know, like as an Xbox podcaster, for you just to be able to like have your content wherever you want and for them to stop all this nonsense because, you know, if you're not going to get out of third place, what's the point? So I appreciate that you have that stalwart opinion going forward into this brave future.
Well, that's our show. Run that into the ground. XEP dips, never shows up again. Here we are. Gentle Stone had my back. He said Jez is more in your camp than you thought, Luke. Yeah, he was more. I was surprised at how in line he and I were on that one.
Yeah. So. It's a shame you guys don't agree on Call of Duty Black Ops 6 though, because I know he loves it.
I think it's a great game. It's not clicking with me right now.
Nah.
It's just not.
Nah. You haven't even played any zombies with me.
I played that one time.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I enjoyed it. It's really good.
One time you did zombies with me.
The boys never want to play zombies. That's all. But I do love it. Nerd Chat says give it 5 years and Luke will be a part of the PC Master Race. We're just gonna keep wearing him down. Honestly, I'd be a part of the PC Master Race now if it wasn't so complicated. And like anybody that's like, it's not complicated. I don't want to look it up. I'm sorry. I don't want to install stuff. I just want to buy it and it work. That's why this PC I have, where I just bought it from Ains. Yeah. That's why I love it. And I'm gonna do when Ains is ready to upgrade me, like, hey, buddy, hi. And that's can I have your old one? That's my thing.
That's fair. Thank you, by the way, everyone who was in chat posting questions, as well as everyone that posted on Discord. It was nice to be able to see them. Real quick, I have not played Hivebusters. Did you play Hivebusters?
So good. Oh my gosh, Hivebusters is great.
I need to go back.
It's good. I'll jump in with you and check if you guys want to play through. That's good.
Okay.
It's good.
I'm good with that. I'm gonna break away from your VR obsession for a little bit. Play some Hivebusters.
It's not an obsession. I just love it. It's just like I can tell. Like I can tell. Like I know when I'm perseverating. Nope. I know when it is. Like Dead by Daylight. I tell. Like no, I just like it.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're perseverating. I'm just saying that you're obsessed.
If they were bad games, I'd agree with you. But like playing through highly reviewed games, that's different. Those are just good games that I'm enjoying.
Okay.
Better purchase, Dragon's Dogma 2 or Alan Wake 2. They're both great. One is
Alan Wake 2.
Like I would pick Alan Wake 2, but Dragon's Dogma 2 is just extensive. So like, do you want a 100-hour game? Do you want a 20-hour game? I think Alan Wake 2 is the better call. I love Alan Wake. I finished up the DLC. So there you go.
Yeah.
Red Beast is a late question in Discord.
I would go with Alan Wake 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is cool, but the systems in that game are so odd to me that I very much like dipped out after a while. So not to say that it's a bad game, but I think the experience in Alan Wake 2 is more unique and better serving for like a purchase.
Concur. All right, last question we're going to tackle today, coming from longtime supporter of the show, patron Red Beast. He says, with so many studios now under Microsoft ownership, its effort to stagger new releases being developed in order to keep users subscribed to Game Pass, do you think that may push or cause more third parties to move away from Game Pass entirely, especially as Microsoft sees PC as an area for growth? Can you see a day where Game Pass simply becomes the best way to play Microsoft games? Yes, I can see that future. I do see that happening. I also think that Microsoft will combat this by supporting games like Kunitsugami and Dead Island. Like they'll put games that are in need of help getting over the finish line into Game Pass to help fill out their catalog. But the whole goal was to have their own internal cadence. And so that's the goal. But I do see things like Kunitsugami coming in as a Game Pass subscriber. Kunitsugami is never a game I would have bought. Absolutely a game I played. And so, and there's never going to be a lack of, hey, this game's 6 months since it came out. It's ready for an injection into the arm. Here you go. That's kind of the Lords of Fallen effect. So I don't think you're ever going to have a problem filling out the catalog. But launching day and date AAA third party games, I would imagine that does back off a little bit, but it can do wonders for a game. Look at Stalker 2, 1 million copies sold and the Game Pass effect. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
I think they already solved this issue. I think that by opening up the Game Pass Ultimate tier to the higher tier and saying like, this is where day one first party games are going to be going, opens up standard to third party experiences. Big little kitty, big city. Big city, little kitty, I think is the game. I'm blanking out.
A cat game.
Yeah, the cat game just recently came to standard, and that was a title that was already on Game Pass. So a lot of people were like, wasn't this already on Game Pass? Well, not if you're a standard user. So I think by them having day one launches for titles that people get to experience if they're paying that higher tier, gives them that ability to kind of determine what the catalog for that tier is going to be versus the standard tier. So they're going to be able to say like, okay, smaller experiences are going to be coming to standard. Third party experiences are going to be coming to standard. If you want the first party day one launches, then you'll upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate at the higher tier, and you'll get the best of both worlds in that instance. But that way they can kind of like segregate the heavy cadence of first party content to Ultimate, and standard users will get those third party experiences as their kind of like buy-in for that tier.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Find me on social at InsipidGhost. Where we finding you, Logan? What you got going on?
CaptainLogan.bluesky.social. It's on the screen there if you're looking. That's where I'm going to be doing pretty much most of my social content. It is community weekend for Sea of Thieves, so the the grade for emissary or for the community emissary stuff is going on right now. I think we're on 4 or 5, which is max. So bonuses are out there. I'm going to be doing the community episode for Keelhauled later today. So any of the patrons that are in chat right now that are at the right level, you can always join us for the Gold Hoarder tier over there to talk about Sea of Thieves and your thoughts on Season 14 now that everything's available to us.
All right. Well, there we go. That is going to be it from us today, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care.
Bye.